Welcome back, everyone. It is Monday, July 21st, and the MLB. Our two favorite picks are on the way. As always, again, unfortunately, we got to recap yesterday. Been a bad last 2 days for us. On Sunday, 0-3. There haven't been some great reads. Jansen Junk, I talked about him. It would be on brand for the Royals to show up, and of course they did. Our other two picks, you could argue, could have gone our way if we had a little bit of luck. Jose Barrios, final batter, gave up a 2-run homer. If he gets him out, we cash. And honestly, I think the guy was on first. So even if he just gave up a single, we probably still would have cashed. And then Logan's Angels Phillies was dead after the second inning, but Ranger throws a strike on a full count, 2 outs, doesn't get the call, and walks a guy in, and then it's kind of unraveled from there. So both of those two feel like they could have gone our way, but obviously did not. And so that's why you're really seeing us limit our unit size or our picks. We only got 2 picks today. We don't need to risk 3-4 units on the bankroll when things just aren't going our way. Maybe the reads haven't been there. Kind of wiping out some of our profit we've made the last few weeks, but we can still easily turn it around. We've had 12-0, 12-1 runs in July. Let's start a new one today, going 2-0, and then maybe you'll see us up the picks, maybe 3 tomorrow. Let's not go crazy when the reads just aren't there. But I'll start with my favorite pick. Logan, go to his, and then I'll have one lean that I looked hard at, but ended up not wanting to force a third pick onto the slate. Let's talk with this guy. My favorite pick of the day is going to be Carlos Rodon, under 17.5 outs, -118 on FanDuel, a 1-unit play. When I look at the spot for Rodon, he's coming off the All-Star game, hasn't pitched since last Friday, so not too worried about that. We've seen some pitchers just not locked in since they're in their first start, and that will be this for Rodon. The Yankees bullpen has used some of their guys in that Braves series, but they're still more or less pretty ready to go here if they need it. And this is a tough matchup for him against the Toronto Blue Jays. And really, the Blue Jays in Rogers Center at Toronto, it's really tough to go 6 against them, especially as a lefty. We saw that with Robbie Ray yesterday. He had like 85 pitches after 3-4 innings. So again, they can do that. They can run up that pitch count, especially for a guy like Rodon, who's heavy on the strikeouts. He needs those strikeouts, not a heavy ground ball pitcher. And we've kind of seen this season, he only has forced 5 double plays. That's kind of the kryptonite to an under and outs is the double play, because you just can't afford giving them 2 outs with 1 pitch. And if the Blue Jays can avoid that, I certainly think they can run up this pitch count on Rodon and get him out of there. And we've seen them do that to him before. Obviously, they're some familiar, seen Rodon a good amount. In fact, 4 times over the last 2 seasons, and he's gone under in every single one. One start, he only went 4. The other starts, he went 5, and then 5 1/3. So again, going 6 against the Jays is not easy. In fact, only 3 lefties have gone 6 against them this season at Toronto. This team has just been great at home versus lefties. Here are their numbers: 2nd in WRC plus, 3rd in walk percentage, dead last in K percentage, so they have the lowest K rate, and then 6th in batting average. So again, this is a team that just does not strike out. They just get fouling off balls, putting the ball in play, and that's what you want to see. And Rodon is a guy that relies heavily on getting those Ks. And heck, he can get some Ks today for all I care. Rather a K play, but I do think that this is a team that can run up this pitch count on Rodon, which is we've seen them do time and time again. He struggled more versus righties, which we know the Blue Jays have plenty of, from the Bichettes, Springers, Vladdies of the world to even Alejandro Kirk, who can be annoying at the plate, fouling off pitches, making the pitcher work, and that's kind of can be Rodon this season. I mean, he has struggled at some spots, and this could be one of those first game out of the break. If you look at his average per inning, he throws about 16.15 pitches per inning, which if you did 16 times 6 to go 6, that would be 96 pitches, which is kind of probably his he's not gonna, I don't see him throwing more than 100 today. First start back from the All-Star break, given the Yankees health status in that starting rotation. They can't afford Rodon to get injured. So unless he's throwing like a gem and he's throwing 5 scoreless, sure, they'll run him out for the 6th if he's already at 90 pitches. But I don't see that being the case here. A divisional game here. The Blue Jays, we know how tight this division is right now. They want to get to that Yankees bullpen early and often in the series. I can see them running that pitch count out up there, just like they did with Robbie Ray yesterday, who had been a very efficient pitcher as of late. Carlos Rodon historically has gone 6 majority of his starts this season. But again, when he gets into tough spots on the road where he struggles a little bit, I could see this being one of those starts here. I think if he goes 6, it's probably because he pitches perfectly. If he has any slip-ups, Rodon is not one of those guys where he slips up and but he's only at like 60 pitches through 5. If he's giving up the runs, it's because it's via the walks. He's just not getting the swing and miss, and you're seeing long innings, 20, 25 type pitch innings. And if we can get one of those today, 125 pitch inning, and I really think that will do it for Carlos Rodon. So give me his under 17.5 outs. Try to cash an out under an outs play. We missed our Quantrill. Let's hope the Blue Jays offense can show up for us today. I really like that one. But Logan's going away from the first 5 unders who've just been getting cooked recently. We'll go back to him maybe tomorrow. But Logan's got a money line play for the people today. We love it. Logan, I'll let you take it away. The floor is yours.
Yeah, it's not a team I've backed much this season, but it's a team I really like in the spot. Let's talk about it. It's the Marlins on the money line, minus 130 odds on BetMGM. Now the price of this game is really weird because you have the Padres, who are 8 games better record wise than the Marlins, but find themselves as pretty sizable road dogs. I mean, you can get the Padres money line at nearly plus 120, which again is very interesting for a team that on paper they look significantly better than the Marlins. But do we like them in the spot? No, I do not like the Padres in this spot. The Marlins will win this game. They will find a way to win this game. I don't care if they win 12-0 or 2-1, right? Because the first 5 totals and stuff have not been there for me. So I'm going to go away from that. I just want a team to straight up win. Let's talk about who starts for the Marlins today. It is Eury Perez who starts for the Marlins, 3.18 ERA and a .91 whip. Honestly, when I look at this Marlins pitching staff, the pitcher I want to back the most out of the whole staff is Eury Perez. I think he's got very, very elite stuff, especially elite strikeout stuff. And at home, he's been really solid. His ERA drops to 2.53 at home. His July starts, I mean, he enters this game in great form. 0-1 and 0 earned runs in his last 3 July starts. So he's been really solid, and I think he can have a really solid start once again. As a righty, Perez is very tough on both sides of the plate. He's allowing a 159 batting average to lefties, 180 to righties. So it really doesn't matter what side of the plate you are. He is actually better against lefties with that lefty-righty matchup. And that's what I need to see, again, especially against a very talented offense in San Diego. But the Padres are only hitting 210 against righties this month. Not that great. I mean, this is a good offense, but they have not been really putting it together against right-handed pitching as of this month, at least. So again, I think Eury Perez is going to have a really solid start, and then they need to give him run support, because the thing I fear the most about this game is that Eury Perez goes out and pitches a gem. The bullpen holds it down, but they don't give him enough run support. I think they get the run support today, and it's going to come against Randy Vasquez, who starts for the Padres, 3.8 ERA and a 1.39 whip. Vasquez has been worse on the road, 4.57 ERA on the road. That's what he's going to be faced with today. And the Marlins did see Randy Vasquez, tagged him for 3 in the first inning in the last time they saw him. He did end up going deep into that game, but you just have to ask yourself, well, why did that happen? Were they attacking early? Maybe. I don't really remember in that start how they were attacking him, but I think this is going to be a worse start for him. Again, lefties have decent success against him. He's allowing a 273 batting average to lefties. Marlins should have several lefties in that lineup, and that's what we need today. The lefties have to be able to hit Randy Vasquez, and he's been good at not allowing home runs lately, but that's not the Marlins game. Again, when I'm looking at the Marlins, I want them to face a pitcher that they can tag with several hits and just get guys on base and just make life very annoying for the starting pitcher. That's what they can do against Randy Vasquez today, because his last 2 starts, he's allowed 3 and 4 walks. The Marlins can be patient at the plate. Put the bat on your shoulder. If Randy Vasquez isn't throwing strikes, just take your base and keep the line moving. And I think that's how they attack him today. The first start post All-Star break for Randy Vasquez, I could see the command not being there for him. He's just one of those pitchers that I really question where his command's at. And I've seen the trend, and why our first 500s have been getting cooked is because a lot of these pitchers who have been pitching okay pre-All-Star break, they come out of post-All-Star break just with no command, just pitching all over the place. I saw it with Sonny Gray 2 games ago. Saw it with Ranger Suarez yesterday, and those are way better pitchers than Randy Vasquez. So do we live in a world in which Randy Vasquez just, throws a few hangers, just, doesn't have it today? Yes, we do live in that world, and I want that to be the case today, especially because the Marlins have been hitting righties really well. They're hitting 279 versus right-handed pitching this month, way better than San Diego. So that's kind of where I think this game is priced. Eury Perez, on paper, a better starter. Marlins bats have been significantly better than the Padres this month. And then we go to the bullpens, because when we're picking a full game pick, we have to analyze the bullpens. In July, the Marlins, first in bullpen ERA at a 1.79, and it's actually not even close between them and second. Now, the Padres are third in bullpen ERA at a 2.51, but you still see there's a significant gap there. The Marlins bullpen has been very elite. Again, I have no questions on what they and Eury Perez can do. If they bring the bats today, I think we get an easy winner for the Marlins on the money line. Love the fish today, Austin. Hopefully we can pick up after the last few days and with a nice little 2-0 little mini sweep today.
Yeah, we absolutely could use a 2-0 little sweep. We definitely need one of those. So let's try to go 2-0 today. Those are only 2 picks. I looked at another play of Brandon Woodruff's under an ounce. I was going between him, the Brewer starter, and Rodon's under an ounce. Hopefully I chose the right one. Heck, I hope both of them cash. Ended up not doing Woodruff only because there's not a lot of familiarity there with the Mariners matchup. But the Mariners have been a very annoying team versus righties. And Woodruff, not a guy that's throwing a ton of pitches this year. This will be his third. He got up to 81 pitches. I think for him to go over 16 and a half, he has to pitch very well. But I could just see the Mariners after a couple of high scoring games against like McCullers, Hunter Brown. They just don't do anything today. So I'm just not going to get there coming off their series against the Astros. But I do think that if you hadn't need another pick, Brandon Woodruff under and out is another one I looked heavily at. Just don't want to force 3 picks on the card when the last 2 days have been 1 and 6 combined. No reason to force more units until we can get on that roll. We go 2-0 today. Maybe you see 3 picks tomorrow. If we can get hot, maybe you see us bet a little bit more. But when we are not getting the luck going our way, no reason to force a ton of picks. So those are 2. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. Hopefully recap a little 2-0 mini sweep. We'll see you guys then.